Hello everyone. So today I'm looking for saddlebag guards for my 2025 Lowrider ST. And as you can see here, there's a lot of choices out there, but I wanted something that was very low profile, that really matched with the sleek aesthetic of the Lowrider ST. Now I didn't really want something that stuck out a lot, and I wanted something that was maybe more of a bar type saddle guard. Here's one choice that was from a company called Original Garage. This one acts also as a passenger peg, which means it's far forward on the bike, and I wanted something that was maybe not acting as a passenger peg so that it was closer to the saddlebags and maybe less visible. There's another company here that I found from Pazoma. This is a Chinese company. They have a number of color options, and this one seemed to be a little bit closer to the bags. They don't act as a passenger peg. So I looked into this one. Another one I was also interested in, besides these Pazoma ones you see here, was made by a different company called the Sick Bagger Company, or SBC. These are, as you can see, significantly more expensive, about 3 times the cost. And they also sit very close to the bags and seem low profile. Now, here you see here, I received the Pazoma Saddlebag Guards. It took a little while for shipping. I believe it took a little over a week. Initial opening of the package, they seem very well made. Good finish on the sliders. They include all the bolts and spacers needed to install the guard. And the guard itself had a nice finish and seemed to be well made in terms of the welds and the thicknesses of the steel. It did not seem like a inexpensive or cheap piece at all. Now, I also ordered the Sick Bagger Company guards. These are made in the USA and were, again, more expensive. But they seem to maybe meet the criteria that I was looking for. As you can see here, they include all the parts necessary for the installation. They include the spacers and the bolts. Here are the spacers. These are a steel setup that were finished in black. The bolts necessary for the installation, and a spacer because it also attaches to the passenger peg area as a support. Now, the guards themselves were very well packaged, so there was no chance of damage in shipping. They were well wrapped in the foam, and I must say, the guard itself is a very hefty and strong looking piece. It's well finished, the welds look quite nice, and the SBC logo that was cut out looks very nice. The slider itself, I ordered in this case, was black and carbon fiber. So today I'm going to install saddlebag guards onto my 2025 Lowrider ST. As you know, I have the 2025 Lowrider ST with this Midnight Firestone paint scheme. It's a really beautiful paint scheme, so I don't want to risk damaging the saddlebags should I have a tip over. So I wanted to invest in a saddlebag guard. I already do have a front mount engine guard that I got from Harley. This is the Mustache engine guard, and I feel that very well protects the front of the bike. However, with nothing in the rear, should I have a tip over, it's the bag that'll hit, and I don't want to damage the paint on the bags nor damage the bags themselves. And so there were 2 that really appealed to me. One I purchased from Pazoma. I'll show it to you here. Now, as I looked at this, if I were to mount this on the bike, you can see here I had some concerns whether it would actually protect the bag enough. If you'll stand by 1 second, I'll go ahead and attach the Chaco and then do a little test to see how well it might protect the bag in case of a fall over or tip over. For the Pazoma, they only mount here, so I'll show you what that's like. I'm not going to torque them down tightly. Here's the Pazoma. It does include a bolt and a little spacer. And we'll go ahead and we'll mount that. Now, I'm not going to torque these down because I'm not sure I'm going to leave this Pazoma on. So let's just do a check to see, in the case of a tip over, if it'll actually protect the saddlebag. I'm going to grab a little bit of a board, and I can lay it right across the wheel, and then until I touch, simulate where it would hit in the case of a tip over. And in this particular case, actually, it's going to hit my exhaust first. So I don't have concerns about the right side of the bike. Let's go ahead and switch over to the left side and see how that works out. Okay, again, so I just loosely mounted the Pazoma one. I just wanted to test to see if it actually has enough length to protect against the saddlebag in the case of a tip over. And it looks like it is going to protect. If I put the bottom of the cardboard piece and touch the top of the Chaco slider, it looks like there's enough clearance from the saddlebag. I would say there's probably about, I don't know, one inch or so. Let's go ahead and mount the SBC Bagger Company engine guard mount and see how that looks and compares. Okay, so here I have the SBC Bagger Company mount. Now, this obviously looks much more robust. This bottom V strut here mounts to the passenger peg hole. Also, if I look at the mounting hardware, the spacer, for example, that is used in the rear fender strut, this spacer is steel, whereas the one in the Pazoma kit is aluminum. It's much lighter. I can feel the difference in weight. Also, there's a spacer in the passenger peg area for the SBC Bagger Company, and this is made out of anodized aluminum. It's not a plastic. So let me go ahead and mount that up again loosely just to see how it's going to look. Okay, everything's just mounted up very loosely onto the bike. And as you can see, compared to the Pazoma, this sits a little bit lower and is a little bit more lower profile. If I were to just hold up the Pazoma one up in comparison, you'll see this would be in about this position here. So it sticks out a little bit further forward, although they are of the same length in terms of how they far out they stick away from the bike. So let's go ahead and test that with my cardboard flat piece to see how that might look if I were to tip the bike over. And here there's significant clearance. If I lay the bottom of the cardboard against the tire and against the top of the slider from the SBC Bagger Company guard, there's a good maybe 2-inch clearance. So how do I like the look? I have to say that I probably like the look of the SBC Bagger Company engine guard a little bit better. Also, I do feel that it's a lot more of a robust system. Let me show you why I think the Pazoma saddlebag guard. Here's the guard itself. Here's what it attaches to the bike, and it's a single bar with one support strut over here. The welds down here are nice welds, but in comparison, for example, to the SBC Bagger Company saddlebag guard, the thickness of the struts are about the same as the Pazoma one. However, this has obviously two support struts here, and if you look at the welds, these welds are massive. I don't know that the Pazoma one would fail at all, but in comparison, I do know that the SBC Bagger Company welds look much stronger because they're much thicker. It just looks like a massive, hefty piece. In terms of the steel that they use, I really don't know which steel they both use. They both feel very sturdy, obviously, and they both look very high quality. if you look over here, this mounts, the Sick Bagger Company mounts in 3 points. I feel that if I were to have a tip over and it were to hit the bottom of this slider, this mounting the 3 points would be much stronger, obviously. If there's pressure pushing up this way from the ground, it's obviously going to pull on the passenger peg mount over here, the struts, and also give support from the fender strut itself. If I use a two bolt mounting system, there's obviously less support than a three bolt mounting system. So just for my peace of mind and my comfort level, I'm going to go with the Sick Bagger Company one to mount on the bike. Also, I like the fact that the Sick Bagger Company saddlebag guard mounts closer to the bike and appears a lot lower profile and fits better with the aesthetic. Also, this bottom strut here also protects somewhat of the side of the bike, I feel. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish mounting this up. I'm going to torque these down to the specified torque. I believe it's 42 to 46 inch-pounds. Down here, 42 inch-pounds is sufficient as well. I believe the range is 38 to 46. Obviously, I'll blue Loctite in. So stand by, and I'll go ahead and get to work. All right, so let's go ahead and work on the right side. Remove the Pazoma one, install the SBC. So all of that's torqued down nicely. Let's do a walk around of the bike. Let me clean this area up so you can see how it looks overall. I think it looks pretty nice. The carbon accents, I think, match very well with the ghost flame on the bike. And you could see it's a very low profile look. I think it matches well with the aesthetic of the Lowrider ST, and that's the look I was going for. So, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate the view, and have a great day.